Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And oh boy, we have a very, very special guest. This basketball head is a three-time city and state champion from August Martin High School, who girls team was the powerhouse in the 80s and early 90s. This basketball head averaged 25, 10, and 5 and garnered first team All-City and was All-American. That means she was nice. This basketball head was MVP of the PSAL and named one of the league's girl basketball legends. So, we're going to straighten this out right now, all right? Tonight on Basketball Heads. When a guy does what she did on a girl's level, we call them a legend. I'm going to say that again. When the guys do what she did on a high school level, we call them a legend. So tonight, we are claiming that this basketball head is a New York City legend. That's it. Now we're going to move on. After high school, she attended Sullivan Community College, where she was a Kodak All-American, Most Valuable Player honors, conference championships, U.S. Junior Olympic gold medal, and National Hoop It Up 3-on-3 state champion. Do I have to say it again? When we talking about New York, this is legendary status right here. This basketball head received a full scholarship to Western Kentucky University, where she helped them win a Sun Belt Conference championship, participated in the Sweet 16, and earned many Player of the Week honors. After graduation, she played for the WNBA for the Los Angeles Sparks. This basketball head also played overseas in the FIBA Tapiolan Honka in Espoo. I just be killing them words, don't I? She also played in Finland and Croatia. After her playing days were over, this basketball head founded Pro Response Sports Incorporated and became director of a Beacon program in New York City. This basketball head was also commissioner of New York City girls PSAL basketball. So you already know she was born to lead. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, author of What Happened After the Game, a memoir. So you can purchase that on all platforms. What Happens After the Game, a memoir, by our next guest. Help me welcome to the show, New York City legend, Michelle Reed.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?
Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening, Michelle?
What's happening, yo? That intro is everything. Every time I hear it, I just get hyped. Like, what?
No doubt. Listen, you definitely well deserved of all the accolades. And listen, after just going over your bio and all the things you have accomplished, I'm gonna say this again. If a dude did what you did,
Mhm.
we'll be calling him a legend.
Mhm.
And I just think if we're gonna play the game right, we gotta keep it fair and balanced.
There you go. That's a fact. I mean, hard work is hard work. It don't matter who does it. Give props where props is due, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much.
No doubt, no doubt. So we want to jump right into this, right? Right. Who introduced you to the game?
My brothers, actually. I grew up with 3 older brothers. My brother Jeff, they call him Magic because his game was mimicked after Magic Johnson. He had the passes, he had the handle, he had the shot, and just growing up following them around in the community, just wherever they went, that's where I was. What they did in sports, I did too, and I just took it to another level. Just that's what it was. Like any sport that was played in the community, because back then we loved to be outside. It wasn't about being in the house. That was the last place we wanted to be, unless it was time to eat, sleep, take your bath, or whatever. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
the video games came when it was too bad to be outside. Snowstorms, and even then we was out in the park shooting. So that's where it started for me, following my brothers around and really just having the love of sports. It was like it was destiny.
So I want to give a shout out to 2 of my coworkers. My guy Chris Christian. He said, "Yo, you got Southside Finest on tonight." He was just checking on the gram. He's like, "Yo, she was, oh man, legendary." And
Mhm.
then my other coworker, Michael Akins, he's from 40. He said, "Yo, make sure you mention her brother Magic, because man, Magic used to be pulling up from 3 point from like half court range, shooting it like he was regular."
Yep. Still to this day.
Look
Yep.
at that,
Still to this day, it's like a free throw for him. It's crazy. Yep. But
man.
shout out to your coworkers. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Shout
No
out.
doubt, no doubt. But I can't go on without mentioning your other brother, who was a legendary DJ.
That's right. Grandmaster Vic, GMV.
Do
That's
y'all
right.
understand the household that she grew up in?
Right.
Legendary. So it's only right we proclaim her to be a New York City legend tonight. Let's blow a tech on that right now. For sure, for sure. Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I grew up with some big shoes to fill. You know what I mean? Like it's literally was in our blood. My mother played sports coming up. And it
Wow.
trickled down from my oldest brother, which is Grandmaster Vic, down to my brother D. He loved baseball. Actually, Vic and D loved baseball. That was their thing, baseball and softball. And I got that sport from following them all the time. And then Jeff, he did everything they did, and I did everything Jeff did, and all of them did. So I got a little bit of all 3 of my brothers in my blood from just following their gifts, even DJing. You know what I mean? It was one point where I tried to tap into that, but I love the game. I love to play sports so much. I wasn't willing to give it up.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. So, what was Magic the best player in the neighborhood, or was somebody else that everybody was looking at?
To me, he was the best. I mean,
That's what I heard.
he played with, the Mark Jacksons and, all of them guys, but to me, he was one of the top players coming not just out of South Jamaica, but coming out of Queens and New York City. I mean, I truly wish the world could have saw the gift that this man had for the game. I mean, his handles, like we said, his jump shot, his IQ for the game. I mean, and he just had that fearless attitude every time he stepped. Every time he stepped on the court, I used to go with him to his games. You know what I mean? Just watching him in the stands and just in awe. And literally, we'd be at home just dribbling, just dribbling. When he dribbled, whatever I seen him do, I would go right behind him and just mimic it. And that started at the age of 5. You know what I mean? Just watching him just practice and just dribble with one hand, dribble with 2 hands, dribble behind the back, dribble 3 in the legs. That started for me at 5.
Wow.
Literally just mimicking everything that he did. And we got to the point where, yeah, we had the basketball in the house, but we had to have 2 basketballs because at the same time he was doing it, I was doing it with him. So, and that's how my craft like literally started, just shadowing him, literally.
And listen, if you grew up during the time when we grew up and you was a female playing against the guys, once you played with the girls, it was just like a piece of cake.
Right. Yep. And that's exactly what it was, because I didn't start playing with girls, organized girls basketball, until I got to junior high school at IS8. Like, and that's when I got introduced to the August Martin team, because I started playing at August Martin while I was still at junior high school 8, IS8 as we know it. And I was the only girl on the all boys team at IS8.
Wow.
So making that transition from playing all those years with all boys to now having to play with just girls team organized style, I was like, you know, it took me a while to adjust. You know what I mean? Because for me, it was like, I thought I was going to just play with boys, play against boys and with boys forever. Until they told me, well, when you go to high school, yeah, we have a girls team. So
Right.
you got to play with the girls. But I actually would have loved to play with both the girls on the girls team and the boys team if I could. Because don't think I didn't ask, because I sure did ask. That's, I mean, because that's what it is. Because coming up playing with people my age and older, I played with grown men coming up. You know what I mean? Like people that was already in high school, already in college, grown men from the neighborhood that grew up with my brothers. So for me, I was fearless to the game, playing against. I just accepted every challenge. Like I wasn't scared. To this day, people be like, "Oh, I can beat you now." Like, yeah, you probably can beat me now because I'm, not really playing. But you didn't have that back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when we was really balling.
You know
That's what I tell all these guys. They try to get me out on the court too. Trust me, I know. They watch if I'm gonna wait till they come down and I'm gonna go at them.
Right. It don't count now.
Right.
It counted that. So yeah, it would have been a lot of highlight reels from people in the neighborhood, and I got schooled and I schooled people, and that's what developed me as a player. My brothers showed me how to go after, how to go at people playing, and I just took it from there. Everybody I played against, I went hard body. I didn't care whether it was a girl or a guy.
That's
my
right.
game was elevated.
That's right. Well, when I put up your post on Instagram, Sean Green showed you a lot of love. He was just like, yes, always showing love. Salute to my guy, Sean Green. And salute to Almighty Force in the building. Appreciate you.
Almighty Force.
Yes. Carly Carl, Danielle Brown, and Almighty Force, like big queens.
Oh, yes.
For sure. Salute to Almighty Force. They played in my basketball tournament this summer. Salute, and hope to see you again next year.
What's up, Almighty Force? Yeah, that name right there. I didn't hear that name in a while. That's what's up.
Yeah, Michael, what's up? Okay, so I think Ray for Austin's attended ISA. I think so.
Yeah, Ray was another legend. Like literally grew up right across the street from me. I was on one side of PS40 on 160, and his family grew up on Union Hall, directly on the other side of the park.
Wow.
Like we literally, our doors mirrored each other. So like just watching him work out and being in the park and just to grow up to be the amazing player he was, man, that kid right there, when I heard his story and just the fact of how he used to dribble out of car windows and his training ethic, man, I wish I would have had that, played more with him coming up, because who he was developing to be, us together, man. My game would have went to a whole new level if I worked out with him at our age.
Yeah. Skip was definitely special.
For sure.
Yeah. He came on the show and came back the next day. I was like, yo, that's my dude right there forever. So, yo, salute to my guy, D. What up? Derek Harley, Lincoln Zone, the building. What's up?
What's up,
Danielle Dunn, she said, yes, coach.
One of my college students I used to coach at your college.
No doubt. Yeah. Make sure you take care of my brother. I know you will, bro. I know you will, man. Appreciate you. No doubt. So, what part right? Was it ISA and PS40, or was it like the Ajax back in the days where everybody played that?
For us, it was PS40 part,
Mm-hmm.
and it was ISA part. So
Mm.
our routine in middle school was, all right, if we had to be at school 8:30, we was already in the park by 7 running scrimmages. That was our daily routine. It was like,
hold on, time out. Yo, hold on.
Yep.
Y'all was running scrimmages.
Yep. Before school. Yep. Every morning, if rain or shine, we would start our day in ISA Park before we went in for class or for breakfast. We was in ISA Park running fulls. Go to class, go to school. If the season wasn't started yet, then after school we would run again until it was time for us to make sure that we were home by a certain amount of time. Go home, do your homework, change your clothes, and then we were back out in 40 Park playing again. That was like routine, day in, day out. ISA to 40 Park.
Listen, those times of spending, our valuable moments on the court, right? We did not want to go home. And like you said, if we had to sleep or eat, other than that, we was outside balling.
Yep. And all it took was that first person to come out with the ball. It was always that one person, right? And then everybody just come running out like little gnats. All right, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because not everybody had a basketball.
Hold on. I was about to say that. Hold on. That's technical foul on that. Yo, right. People, I don't think y'all understand. Right now, kids got like 20 pairs of sneakers, 3 basketballs. If someone had a basketball in the neighborhood, they was very important.
Yes. Yep.
And you had to let them play.
And they play. They brought the ball, because if they left, they was leaving with the ball. So even if they got pick number 9 or 10, right, pretty sure the person with the ball got picked so they could stick around. That's true. But yeah, that was a given. That was a given. It took that one person. And everybody just came out the woodworks. It was the best times of my life. I would never take that back.
Wow, for sure. Lamar Letts, appreciate you. What happens after the game is fire. Nothing but praise for Michelle Reed and her book.
That's what's up. Thanks, Lamar. Appreciate you, friend. That guy right there we'll talk about that another time, but
got you.
Keep an eye on that name.
Got you. Oh, definitely. We'll make sure I'll make a note of that right there. Hold on. Let me make a note of that for sure. Lamar Letts. Yep. Says, so my cousin Dwayne Robertson, aka Didi, aka Magic, aka Brown, is an August Martin legend as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Slow. Appreciate you. So, Mike, we said, I am in Illinois, and I bring another South Jamaica legend Showtime to the northeast suburbs of Illinois to show off New York flair. Hey, appreciate you.
That's what's up.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, fam.
That's right.
Hey.
Anytime, just hit me up. We'll make sure we make it happen. Thank you.
Fact.
Love all the way out in Illinois. Appreciate you.
That's what's up.
Now, your junior high school days, tearing things up, playing with boys, playing with girls. How was your transition into August Martin? And did you make JV or you were straight to varsity?
Oh man, well before we leave ISA, I must tell you that I made the Guinness Book of Records in ISA. I played. Yes. No, that was tee 'em up.
What?
Yes, Guinness Book of Records. I kept a high GPA and played every sport in the school as a female. Played every single sport in the school. My gym teacher, John Cobb, submitted me. Played every single sport in the school and maintained my GPA. Yes.
And you're in the Guinness Book of World Records for this.
Yes. I don't know if anybody broke it, but that book still sits at my mother's house with my name in it, the Guinness Book of Records, for being the only girl to accomplish that at a junior high school level. Yes. So
is amazing.
I'll be remiss to not mention that because that's not something that's on everybody's resume.
Not at all. I think you're the first.
Yeah, so that part is dope. But in speaking and answering your question, when I left, because I was already practicing I started practicing with August Martin High School when I was a junior in at ISA, right? So working out with the high school girls and getting familiar with them. I was going to basketball camps and stuff like that with the girls, and just the coach Joel Asher, the legendary Joel Asher,
Yeah.
made sure that the transition for me would be smooth. So not only was I playing with the high school girls that was already at August Martin, but during when college was out on recess and things like that, the college girls used to come back and play with us to stay in shape. So now I'm playing 2 levels up, a junior in junior high school, right? And I'm playing against high school and college women already, in addition to playing with boys at the junior high school level, college level, and above. So with that being said, what do you think by the time I got to August Martin, where you think I played at?
You straight varsity freshman year.
Facts. And I went in, I finished, I didn't go into August Martin in my freshman year. I went in my sophomore year. So I came in right as a sophomore.
Oh, right. Okay, got you.
Yeah, so right there. I mean, I was ready. I was ready. You know what I mean? And even though as a sophomore, I still had talent above me, but I was still called on. You know what I mean? I was still ready because, again, already practicing with them already had me comfortable with what I was walking into, even though the transition was still difficult because I still had that thrill for playing against guys. To me, playing against guys elevated my game as to the highest level. The competition, I got bored playing with girls. It took me my whole sophomore year to develop the mindset that, okay, this is what it is. You're either going to get used to it or you're just going to get bored and lose interest. So, and then with August Martin, girls being so skilled and reminded me so much of some of the guys I was playing against in the neighborhood, that's when I started getting really comfortable with making the transition, because the more we played, the more skill sets that were coming in my class and behind me and in front of me. So they wasn't scared to play against guys either, because we used to scrimmage against the guys team at August Martin during the off season, and we used to play in the park with people during our downtime. So they made the transition a little bit comfortable, but at first it was more so uncomfortable for me mentally because I was used to playing with boys all those years.
Got you.
So it was a mental thing. You know what I mean? Like they said, the game is 90% mental and 10% physical. And that's when that reality set in for me. Like, okay, I'm psyching myself out here. You know, just go out and play. If you better than them, you better than them. Just play and have fun doing it. And that's what it was.
Why is it so important to always play at a high level when you're not playing against people as skilled as you are?
Because it constantly takes you out of your comfort zone. Because if you're playing with people that you're always better than, then how good are you really getting? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like me going to the park and playing against 4th and 5th graders while I'm in high school. I'm making them better by playing against them, but what am I doing for myself? So I constantly challenged myself to play against people better than me at every level. Like, all right, I was uncomfortable playing with people at my level. I needed to play with people better than me.
Well, you played with 2 other all-city players, right? And Rhonda Singleton and Corinne Jones.
That's right.
Like, how was that? Like, hold on, people. Let me explain to y'all. For y'all people who kind of like new to this, and y'all see what South Shore is doing right now in the PSAL. Well, they were the South Shore plus more, right? How many altogether? How many city and state championships did August Martin win altogether up to this point? Do you know?
I think, gosh, you caught me off guard. What is it? 12? I want to say 12.
Y'all around 12. So, and Bertram got like 15 or 16, right?
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I think the total, oh my gosh, because I see it like we had when we have our reunion, we have it on some of the girls have the jacket with the dates on it. And oh my God, I'm so ill prepared. But
it's more than 5. More than 5, 6, right?
Oh, absolutely. 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 You're talking about like 86, from 86 all the way to the 90s.
I remember because every time we would turn the city champ would be August Martin, August Martin, August Martin, August Martin. Then it kind of switched and went to Bertram, Bertram, right?
Yep. So we used to go at it, and the thing is, like when we played in our Queens division, we was always so much better than everybody, right? And that's a humble thing. That's not a bragging thing. It was just the time and dedication that went into coaches preparing players in Queens is different. It was different then. You had only maybe a handful of committed coaches that literally took the girls like Joe Asher did and worked us out all year round. Like we literally went, whether school was in or not, during breaks, we were in the gym. During the week, we was in the gym. When school was on, in the gym. It was holidays, we were in the gym. You know what I mean? And then when in the summertime came, we were in the gym and we was at summer camps. We played at BC All-Star Camp and we played at Kathy Rush camps. And those were the top camps in the nation. You know what I mean? Everybody and their mama wanted to be at those camps.
Invite only.
Invite only.
That's right.
And we talked about it, and even going to those, I didn't realize the impact that those camps had on my career moving forward, like having that forward thinking, because I didn't realize the Pat Summits and you know, all of them were who I was standing face to face with. I mean, girls basketball just wasn't nationalized like it is now. So I didn't hear about who these coaches, head coaches were until the letters started coming in. And then me having the conversations with the college girls that were coming back playing with us. We're like, wow, this college thing it's pretty big. You know what I mean? Because I grew up in the project. So it wasn't always a lot of conversation about college. And for that matter, it was the whole philosophy around growing up out of hood is graduating out of high school. That was the goal. College was the bonus conversation. And you didn't have those conversations with everybody. You know what I mean? Because that wasn't on everybody's radar. But being in sports, those conversations were had, and it gave me something to look forward to. And then going to those camps in my sophomore year, by the end of the summer, going into the school year, I had hundreds of letters coming in my sophomore year just from going to those camps. Sophomore now. Sophomore year. By junior year, it doubled. It got crazy. I had so many letters coming in that I had crates. I used to collect the milk crates, and my brother already was using the milk crates for his records, stacking them in the room. You know what I mean? So I started collecting the milk crates and started stacking them with my college letters. And it's like, wow, what am I supposed to do with all of this? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize the impact that those letters were having on who I was about to become.
She's not capping, because I had Derek Chivas up here, and he was McDonald All-American, and he said his goal was to go to York College right up the street. He said if he could turn York College and make that into something, because he used to go there and play, that was the goal. I laughed, but he's like, yo, Pooh, I'm dead serious.
That was it. Yeah.
We didn't think outside of the neighborhood.
Yep. And we didn't have the people to teach that. Everybody was just trying to grow out of the hood and survive. It was survival then. You know what I mean? You had the drug game going on, you had the crime, you had, the gangs, and back then, you couldn't come in 40 projects unless people knew you. You know what I mean?
Very
So
true. Very
so
true.
the people that, you know, just thankfully I was put in the company of people that wanted me to succeed and made sure that I stayed on track and had conversations with it. And like I say, I give props to Joe Asher and Don Annelsman all day because when they first met me, they said if you want to go to college, you do great in your books, you stay consistent in that, and if that's your goal, I'll make sure I'll send you to college for free. And both of them held up to those words.
Wow.
And I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it without being in the surrounding of August Martin. It just wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened the way it did. I'll say
Right.
that. You know what I mean? It had the impact and the results that I had. I had options before, and I didn't have those options before I met them. I
Wow.
had skills and I had the gift, but they gave me options, and I'll forever be grateful to both of them for that.
Salute to both of them coaches.
Salute.
For
Salute.
sure. So Michelle, did y'all win the city championship in your first year?
Yes, we won city and state. City and state, because we was coming off. They were before I came in, they won city and state. The year I came in, it was a back-to-back city and state, and then in my junior year, we won city.
Wow.
So what a way to come in, right? I came
Right.
in.
And who did y'all beat in the state championship? Do you
Uh,
remember what was it? Christ the King? Did y'all have to face Christ the King at any point?
No, we didn't go up again in my my junior year. We got beat, but we would have went up against Christ the King. We lost the game before meeting the finals.
Gotcha.
They wound up winning that year, my junior year.
Because it was either or. It was either y'all or Christ the King that was coming out on top, right?
Yep.
With the Queens of New York.
Yep. And we worked so hard for that game. You know what I mean? That was like the ultimate, because that was like our rivalry. You know what I mean? Like, all right, that was the only team we really haven't went up against, and they were known in the Catholic era as being the greatest, and we were known in the public school as being the greatest. But it was like, all right, let's get us on the stage together and let's make this happen. And we wound up losing the game right before the championship, and they wound up winning it that year.
Got you. Andre Prince said y'all won 12, and then Bertram had 14.
Yeah, I knew it was at 12.
I would correct him with the Bertram because they actually won 15 in a row.
Yeah, Bertram.
Actually, look up the news article on that. But salute to Andre Prince. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Andre. Thanks for double backing on that.
That's right.
For a minute, but yeah, it's 12. I was right. Yep.
Right. So now let's talk about being able to pick up the newspaper and not see yourself in the crime section, right? Because there's a lot of that going on. Ooh. But how big of a deal was it for you, your neighborhood, and your family to see you in the newspaper as often as they did?
It was really big. It was really big because, like you said, you either be known for being in the papers because of something negative, or you had the choice of being in the paper for something positive. And thank God I was in there for something positive and have the clippings to prove it. You know what I mean? And everybody don't have that story from that era, you know? And just the thought of going every time the Daily News or the Newsday came out, people would come to the school with the clippings. Parents had the clippings from on the team. They would create the photo albums for us with the clippings and that they collected for the year. And at home, my mother clipping out the articles. And to this day, I have the album with the clippings in there from some of the games. Some of them I lost in transition from moving around, but I had to literally go into an archive on Google just to get some of those articles back. And I actually put some of them on my website because I'm like, wow, these were like flashbacks. You know what I mean? Like moments that were written in history. You know what I mean? And even if we can't go back and look at the film, and that's something I wish that I had a lot of my games that I can go back and just watch the DVD. It's not even DVD, it's the VHS.
Right. Right.
And just go back and watch those games, because it's just something to really be proud of, to say that, wow, you really did the damn thing, and you defied the odds that was supposed to be against you based on where you were born. But I didn't become the statistic.
That's right.
And I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that.
Wow.
And not to say I didn't do some stupid things.
Well, we were all kids. We were all kids, right?
Yeah, but I just had people around me that just made sure I stayed on task. And that goes back to how important community is. It's just that community that raised us. If they saw us doing something we wasn't supposed to do, they corrected us. And then they told our parent, told my mom, okay, and then I was like, all right. I had teachers that, my mother being the PTA president of my elementary school and my junior high school. So every single teacher knew her, and they knew her from her being active in the community and in the schools from my brothers being older. So she did it from my oldest brother on down to me. So they knew me before I even came into the school. So it was no margin for error. If I messed up, they checked me and they told her, and I always had eyes on me. So that kept me focused and driven. And then once I started understanding the gift that I had in sports, that's where I had that tunnel vision. Like, this is what I love. This is what I want to do, whether it was basketball, whether it was baseball, even then, even playing Skelly and all that kind of stuff was the it thing. You know what I mean? I just wanted to
hold on. Time out.
Yeah. They don't know about it. They don't know about it.
What you know about the killer Dilla, huh? What you know?
Making the clay in the top with the push-up cap.
Right.
Let me tell you, having that smooth glide.
That's right. Oh, man.
That was how that went. So, yeah, that community, that village that raised the child. I grew up in that era, and I am so happy for that.
Yes, because we live in an era now where, people tell others, don't tell my child anything, don't say nothing to my child, and that keeps the community apart. And older guys say, yo, man, I ain't talking to that kid too hard-headed, or I got to deal with his moms or pops that's going to say something to me.
Yep.
And it just leaves us as the community divided. So, yeah.
And learn the hard way. And that's why we have so many kids that's in the system. And I was talking to a middle school student yesterday. And then just talking to him about his goals. I gave him 3 words. It was setting goals, developing a skill, and recognizing your value, right? And creating your value, not recognizing, creating your value. And he went and said how he had a hard day in school. And I'm like, okay, you had a hard day. Let's talk about that. He said, oh, man, my day was crazy. It felt like I was in prison. I was in school from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I'm like, how do you know? Have you ever been to prison? He said, no. So I said, how do you know school is like prison? What's your comparison? Why are you even labeling yourself like that? Why are you even giving that a definition in your sentence? And he just looked at me. I said, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't even put your name in the same sentence as prison, because your future is much brighter than any prison can ever show you. If you had a hard day, understand why you had a hard day and go back and fix it tomorrow. But don't put yourself in the category of prison. That's system thinking.
That's right.
That's system thinking. Nah, we need, and that's why we need to get back to that village raising a community, because these kids need that. Man, this world is not waiting for us. And if you don't have the right skill set, mindset, and tools, our kids gonna get eaten alive, man.
They're gonna get left behind. A lot gonna get left behind. Yep.
Yeah. And even as adults, we struggling and trying to stay afloat. You know what I mean? Even if you got it, you still fighting hard every day to keep it. So if it's this hard for us with the education and knowledge that we have, imagine what it's going to be for them when everything is literally going to be robotic and computerized.
Yeah, I preach that every day as a dean. I tell kids like, yo, if you go into war with nothing, no diploma, no degree, no skills,
And what?
the world is gonna leave you behind.
Yeah, yeah. You become somebody mapping out your future for you. So I told them, map out your future now. Be in control of your destiny. This is the perfect time to start. People think you start well when you graduate high school and start thinking about your major in college. No, start now. Start living your dream now. Make it a reality now, because as you go, you make those steps and transitions. As you go, you learn something different, and you get to see what you like and don't like. So these are the hard conversations we got to have with kids. But unfortunately, because we have parents that have that pushback of how much you can give to a child without making them feel insecure. I'm not here to make you feel insecure as a parent. I'm here to help make sure that your child understands that they have an option in the world that don't want them to have it. So
Most definitely. So speaking of future and transitions,
mhm.
transitions is a very integral part of my show, because as people that come from the sports world, and even just being people, we go through different transitions in our life,
Right.
and there's different adjustments, and it's all about starting over, getting up, and doing the damn thing all over again at different levels,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You dominated high school, was on the dominant team, getting all these letters from all these colleges and universities all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you have to go to Sullivan?
All right. Let me try to tell this as clear as possible. My senior year, right? You know how we all have the guidance counselor that helps us help us with our program, make sure we take all the classes we need to make sure that we graduate. So I got into the second half of my senior year, and my guidance counselor forgot to put a history regents, sign me up for the history regents for the first part of the year that was only offered for September through before we went in break on in
Mm.
November. So in that class, that regent was only offered one time a year, right? So being that we just came off a Christmas break, January into February, here I am, excited going through my letters to see what school I want to go to, what colleges I want to visit, who I want to come visit me at my house, and before I make a decision, and I get hit with, oh, you can't graduate. Like what? Yeah, it slipped that I didn't sign you up for the history regents, and they're not giving the regents again until September of next school year. So not only did this guidance counselor mess up my program for me graduating on time, they offered for me to walk down the aisle and only get a blank paper, not even my diploma, but gave me the option of still walking during graduation, which I declined because I was so pissed. But I wound up having to come back in September, not go to college in August as planned, take the regents, pass it, and then figure out, okay, now what? And by the grace of God, Don Andelsman, DA, worked his magic and did his homework. He found, I don't know how the heck he found Sullivan College in Lexington, Kentucky, but he did. And when I tell you God worked in mysterious ways, because that is one of the best basketball experiences I've had in my life.
Mm.
Playing with those women and in that program shed a light on the game for me like I've never had before. I mean, the camaraderie, the team connection on the court. It was a small college, like literally the size of a business building. And it was just the perfect transition that I needed, coming from a city into a college, so I could stay focused and not get too caught up in the big university campus. Right. So it was perfect for me to make the transition from high school high school classes to college courses. And they were coming off of a 34-0 season.
Mm.
I mean, like they were one of the top junior colleges in the nation, and I knew nothing about them. I was like, okay, he said they're in Kentucky. They offering you a partial scholarship, and the partial scholarship covered my books, the classes, and only thing I had to really cover was a small portion of my room and board. Other than that, they covered everything else. So my mother was like, if that's what you want to do, then I'll find the money. But if that's where you want to go, go. I got on the phone with the coaches. DA made the introduction. I didn't know what I was walking into, but I was like, you know what? I wasn't going to stay here and give up. I wasn't going to stay in New York and just give up and just get the job like that. I didn't see that for myself in that moment. So once I passed that test, I got my diploma. I was on the next flight to Lexington, Kentucky. And when I tell you, we balled. I was there for a year and a half. I wound up graduating with an associate's degree in a year. I finished a 2-year degree in a year and a half. That's how focused I was. And that's how much that being going to that small campus was just what I needed at a time when I didn't know I needed it. And we were 34. We was 34 and 1. We lost our very last game of the championship game. We went 34 and 1, and we got cheated like hell out of that one. And when I tell you, it was bad. I mean, it was to the point where
I know exactly what you want to say too. Trust me, you down in Kentucky. I know.
Where you had fans from the other team booing the refs, kind of thing. Like, what are they doing? They want to see their team win, but they wanted to see a good game. And we got cheated out of our last game. And when I tell you, we were blowing teams out by halftime by 50, 60 points. To the point in the second half of the game, we had to pass the ball around 3 to 5 times before we took a shot, just so we didn't humiliate people. Because literally all of our games would have been in 3 digits. Easy. Easy. I mean, our practices was 3-hour practices. The first 2 hours, we did nothing but run. We did nothing but run. And when I tell you we were in shape, I was in the best shape of my life. The best shape of my life. And we balled. We blew teams out. Sometimes we have 50, 60, 70 points at halftime.
Wow.
Didn't run a play. It was run and gun. Run and gun. Loved it. Loved it.
When did you realize there was a difference between high school and college basketball?
When did I realize it? I would say at Sullivan. I'll take that back. I would say I recognized the difference when I got to Western Kentucky University. Because that's when the game started feeling like a business.
Talk that talk, because it's really a business.
Yeah, that's when it started coming, where it's like, wow, you know what I mean? You feel like you have a lot to lose, because now it's the pressure of not just winning your conference, but it's making it to, the Final Four, Sweet 16s, Final Four, and then the championship games, and it's always that need to be better. And really knowing and watching film and studying players and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't do that kind of stuff in high school and in JUCO. It was like when we sitting there having hour and a half film, just studying each team. You know what I mean? Studying the play and all of that. And that's when the game started. Like, wow, this is a different.
We're gonna definitely touch on there, right? Because I think we're jumping over all the things that you accomplished at Sullivan.
Oh yeah.
Right, you accomplished. The journey just took you. It was like you was climbing a ladder to success. Right, every step you was just breaking down barriers and accomplishing so many goals during that time. What's up, Wes? My guy, South Carolina. He's from New York, but he's down South Carolina now for sure. Said, hoop brand basketball like this. I would like to meet you to talk basketball business.
Let's do it.
No doubt.
Let's do it. But Wes, we definitely can't skip over those accolades. So go ahead.
No, for sure. Because, right, because you think about it, Sullivan kind of reestablished you, right? When you thought things were kind of not over, but you had to get over that hurdle because it kind of set you back some.
Oh yeah, mentally more than anything. Yeah.
Right. So it was the best place for you under those circumstances, right? In the classroom and on the court, right? But you had such a dominating experience at Sullivan, being a Kodak All-American. Now, for y'all people that's out there, right? Kodak was such a big company back then.
Yeah.
I think they had a chance to. I forgot what company Kodak had a chance to buy and passed on them, and this is why they kind of phased out the way they did. But they were so huge back then. To be a Kodak All-American was a special thing. Do you remember how much you averaged at Sullivan?
What was it? 20, I want to say 25, 26, I believe it was.
Whew.
Yeah.
So no wonder you said you didn't see the transition until you got to Western Kentucky, because you was doing that at high school.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And making Kodak All-American, winning the 3-on-3 tournament down in Lexington, Kentucky, like really just walking into Kentucky and just making a name for myself from the first summer that I got there. You know what I mean? And I had to sit out when I got there in January. And they were already in season. So I sat out that season. I had the option to play, but I didn't want to lose a year of eligibility just to come in and play a couple of months. So I was like, nah, I'll wait it out and I'll just, I'll stay in shape and be ready when called on. So working out, being able to work out with them and prepare myself, get adjusted academically during that time frame. And that way, when the season came, I was able to balance both academics and the transition into college, because just because the college was small didn't mean that the professors didn't hold us accountable for our work. You know what I mean? We still had to do the work.
That's so true. When we talked about and I'm just bounce back a little bit to the guidance counselor, Andre Prince made a very good point. So that's the saying, August Martin guidance counselor department was sketchy. I actually could see the ones I remember said bundling something like this, right? If now, not to attack all guidance counselors, because
it's not all of them.
And a lot of them don't have any idea about college sports. So you have to be trained to understand what classes kids need to take.
Right.
And if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
But she shouldn't have forgot. She should have known that they was giving that history test. It was just like one for the whole year.
Yeah.
Like you can't drop the ball on that.
Do you forget? How do you not know that?
Right.
That's automatic.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's one of them things where you can say, oh, well, maybe they were overwhelmed. Well, you know what? You being overwhelmed could have cost me my future. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like I was graduating and that's it. But again, that's sometimes the mindset that's in our communities. Like sometimes, can you imagine how many people that may have happened to before me?
Yeah.
But didn't have the opportunity that I had, waiting for me. Like I had full scholarship, free ride to college waiting for me anywhere in the country I wanted to go. And at that moment, I couldn't accept one.
Wow.
And who was going to sit there and wait for me to finish all of that? Like they
right.
have to run. Again, it's a business.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, she's not ready. So, all right, we got to go to the next recruit. And these were coaches that were recruiting me from my sophomore year of high school, my sophomore year. You know what I mean? And then all the way through my senior year, that I had to say I had Vivian Stringer in my living room.
Woo, legendary.
Legendary. Vivian C. Stringer in my living room saying, I want you at Iowa. Talking to me and my mother. And to just know that I couldn't take advantage of that. St. John's wanted me. You know what I mean? Like Tennessee and I had every top school in the nation that all I had to do was just pick. And she took that moment away from me. She took my moment to sign, that moment when you sign and then you have the write up and the interview and people know where you're going. You know, the honors I could have got, more honors I could have got as a senior
Right.
from the state of New York, just by graduating. I lost out on those opportunities because I wasn't officially graduating. You know what I mean? But the beautiful part of that is that God's plan worked out. I didn't see it then, but I got to see what it was, and I was happy with the results of that because it could have went a whole different way.
That's right.
It could have I could have been one of them high school legends that never made it, but that wasn't the plan for me.
God's plan.
Man,
God's plan. Salute to Drake. Salute to my guy, Thomas Trey Diggs. Said, cop that book, Super Talented Athlete and a Better Person. Go, August Martin and Sullivan CC, both my alma maters.
that's what's up. And let me give Trey a big shout out because he is the reason why this interview is happening right now. So
yes,
I appreciate you, fam. Thank you very, very much. Very, very much.
Little bro, always on the check-in, always supporting.
Always from day
great
one.
Person, great family. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
We go back like hairlines.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So now you get to the point where you can really enjoy your recruiting process, right? You mentioned you signed with Western Kentucky, but what was some of the other schools that you was kind of considering?
Actually, I was good with Western. I was good with Western because I was already right there in the Kentucky. I was already adapting to the Kentucky lifestyle. August, they were coming out of the Final Four. That the prior season, and they were one of the top schools in the nation. All I had to do was just pack up a vehicle and drive a few hours away. You know what I mean? Like
That's
it was
right.
like why reinvent the wheel? Like I was comfortable with the element that I was in. And going and having the visit on campus and getting to know the team and seeing the campus. And the campus, again, it wasn't a huge campus I could get lost in. I had the University of Kentucky, UK right there, literally 10 minutes away from our Sullivan campus that wanted me to come to UK. But that campus was huge. Had
it's
the
like
University
a mini city.
University of Maryland. Took the visit there. Huge campus. I was like, guys, it'd take me like 45 minutes just to get from one class to another. No, I was just used to just walking a couple of steps and I'm in the next. Like, I didn't want to go to a campus and get lost in school. You know what I mean? I've grown to adapt to the small size and the camaraderie that Kentucky had. And making the decision to go to Western and understanding the philosophy of the team and what they were working towards. And then one of the alumni from August Martin, Trina Wilson, going there and having such a success and had such high praises about the college. And I know she took the game serious as well as her education and she was doing well. That helped me make the decision. Yeah, that helped me make the decision big time.
Now you're in your third transitional process of your life on the ball side. And right off the bat, you got to understand the difference between high school and college basketball. Now you're in the big leagues. It's about business. Right? It's about straight up business. How important was being at Western Kentucky for your growth and development?
I struggled. Oh my gosh. I had 3 years of eligibility because again, I didn't play 2 years at Sullivan. So I actually, a lot of my classes transferred, but it gave me 3 years of eligibility. So the transition for me academically was tough because the scheduling was, these were professors that didn't care whether you passed or fail. You had to put the work in. And we did have alumni that, you know what I mean, that just was fans of the game and were big college supporters of athletes and things like that, that went the extra mile to make sure like, all right, if you need extra help, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. all of that was there. All of that was cut and paste. And it was up to me to just work on my time management and being able to study, having a larger class load, and having all of the big travel schedule. Because now we went from traveling in a van to our games, which weren't too far away, 2-3 hours, maybe 4 hours away, to now we're taking flights. You know what I mean? And now we're flying to Texas and Las Vegas and Puerto Rico and, you know what I mean, Arkansas. Our games are spread out. So with this came a whole different kind of mindset, because now I have to factor in my scheduling, my practices, my workout, my work ethic in my books, as well as performance on the court. And the biggest transition for me was learning how to balance all of that. And the support system at Western Kentucky, the great part about it is that was there, because we had mandatory study halls. We had, people that always wanted to help to make sure that I stayed the course. So that was great. You know what I mean? But on the court, I struggled, because I went from run and gun teams from junior high school to high school to Sullivan, and now I'm at a school that was more of a half court team. They was into running plays and slowing the game down a little bit, and I struggled. Oh my gosh, I struggled. I struggled. Yeah, so it was like, how do I adjust to this new system? You know what I mean? How do I adjust to this new system? Because I knew the success Trina had in her years of being at August Martin, and I knew I was more than capable of doing it. But I didn't know how to adjust to slowing down my game.
And that's different from us coming from New York, because I think a lot of us New York players go through that, right?
Yeah.
And this is why in my tournament, I allow teams to run zones.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't do the man-to-man thing like they're in the NBA, because at the end of the day, when they move on to college, they're going to have to face zones.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to learn to have discipline and run plays and pass the ball to get a good shot. It ain't just going to be run and gun every time you play a team.
Yep. And that for me, my sophomore year was it was brutal on me mentally, because I was like, wow, I'm not good enough. I don't know if I'm gonna fit in here. Coach was hard on me, and I wasn't used to that coach being in my face kind of thing. And I was like defensive a lot. Like, why are you yelling at me? Like, just getting mad at him for yelling at me, and taking it personal. You know what I mean? And it wasn't personal. It was just his coaching style. And again, when in that business, college playing atmosphere, it's intense.
They want to see if you're going to break.
Right.
Because college basketball is very intense. Right. And some coaches, would do that. They'll be in your face just to see if you can break under pressure. Because
I broke. I'm not gonna lie. I broke, man. When he used to yell at me, I used to get so upset, and he knew it too. But he would talk to me, be like, and then he'll tone it down and try to bring me back. But again, I grew up with 3 older brothers, so I was used to certain things, but I didn't like, that family dynamic. When our family argued and stuff, I didn't like that. You know what I mean? So it was like little triggers from those moments, and now I have this Western Kentucky coach yelling at me and in my face kind of thing. And it wasn't disrespectful. I don't want to paint that picture. It wasn't that kind of, it was just intensity and drive and get you excited and get you going and get you pumped and make you work harder, push you to your limit, not get you out of your comfort zone kind of thing. And I just hated it. I just hated when he used to just single me out. And I wasn't used to that. I mean, I'm just used to going out there, perform. You correct me, I go and do what I got to do. But I was being singled out, and that was just him forcing me to see another part of the game. But the happy medium was then by my junior year, he shifted a little bit. He worked on making the game a little bit more fast tempo, and that's when I started finding my place in his system, where now it's a little bit of run and gun, but now it's also a little bit of half court game, and having that mixture and being able to learn how to adapt mentally once again helped me in my junior year feel better about playing for the school.
Do you remember your breakout game?
Wow.
Think
Dang,
about your junior year. Like, what was that game that said, you know what, I arrived?
you know what? I would say my moment was when my family came to my first college game.
Mm.
Played my first time my entire college career, because I didn't have any, for many reasons, I didn't have this family support with the fans and the family in the stands and coming to the games and all that kind of stuff. I went majority of my career solo.
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of us during that era,
Yeah.
our parents didn't come to the games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, like, I can remember high school, like, none of our parents came, not just mine. So you look down, and it was just a different time. It was a different time.
And I give it to my mom, because my mom showed up for a lot of my high school games.
Okay.
A lot of my high school games, but the presence I was missing was my brothers.
Got you.
They because they were my reason for building a foundation of playing sports. Because I've always been big supporters of theirs my entire life. So it was like that was a big missing piece for me. Because my mother, high school games, single mother. I mean, I had to respect that she had to work, because if she keep missing days, then rent had to be paid, food had to be on the table. But you know what I mean? There was real life behind that. But when she was able to make it, she was there. She was at those high school games. But my college career, unfortunately, some of my family members only got to see me play one game my entire college career. And that was when we played at Rutgers University at Rutgers during the NCAA tournament. I think we met them in the first round. Yeah, the first round. And that wound up being my breakout game. And I think that was my sophomore year. And that was the icebreaker for me, because my coach literally told my family, two of my brothers came, a friend and my mother. And he literally told them, I need to fly y'all out to every game, because this is the best game and the most game I've seen Michelle play. He literally told them that. Like, wow, this is who I've been waiting for.
Wow.
Literally. And I just felt like, at that one moment, I felt like the final puzzle of my career was being put in place by having them knowing they were in the stands.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that was my I would say that was my breakout moment. Breakthrough. I don't know if to say breakout or breakthrough.
Hey, both are fine with me.
Both will work.
That's right. Now, you done been in the Guinness Book of World Records. You've been All-American. Won city and state championships. What was it like to be part of the Sweet 16?
Man, listen. First of all, we beat Louisiana Tech.
Whoo, powerhouse.
For the Sun Belt Conference on their court. And this is back in the Vicki Johnson era. Yes. Okay, we used to go head and head. La Tech was our main hump to get over every season. They were the team that we needed to beat. So to beat them at their home floor, on their home floor for the Sun Belt Conference was everything. Right? And then to make the Sweet 16 the same year, highlight. And then we wound up losing to Tennessee.
And you had to face that coach who you didn't know too much about.
Pat Summit, the great. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And the rest in peace, Nikki McCray.
Yes.
That's the first time I got to see her in her element, and that girl was something else. We had Gwen Doyle and and Tara Cosby and Ida Bowen and all of them greats on our squad, and to watch them go up against the Tennessee girls and to be a part of that mixture, man, that was a pot. That was a pot. And yeah, it was a lopsided game, but it was a game. It was a lopsided game, though. It was
Listen,
a lopsided.
I'm gonna say this to you now, Michelle. Not too many people in New York City who played college basketball went to the Sweet 16.
No,
It's a very small group. It's a very small group. Yep,
yeah.
that's right. No matter what, boy or girl side, still a small group.
Correct.
Sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
and that's always a goal because people always miss that point and go right to the Final Four. But that Sweet 16 is like that first taste.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? You
That's
gotta,
right.
once you break that, then it's like, okay, now you can start planning for the Final Four because that's the milestone.
That's
you know?
right.
But it was amazing, man. It was amazing. There was a lot of hiccups and a lot of bumps and a lot of moments, but what's life without those, right?
That's right. It makes you who you are.
Yeah. I
Di-
made some crazy decisions. Boy. You may want to read the book for those.
No, definitely. We could definitely revisit those. That could turn into some more stories, right? Some more great stories.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because my end story of Western Kentucky is not one in which I highlight, as my most sane moments, because I went through a transition of sadness, and I would say, what some would say it was my first taste of mild depression. Because now I was at a place where I was going my entire career. I didn't have much of my family around. I had a lot of things happening that were good, but because of what was coming down the pike, it made it a little dark.
I got you.
It made it a little dark, and it made me make some decisions that I'm not proud of today, but I understand more of what I did and the impact it had on me, and why it was important for me to forgive myself. You know what I mean?
And it's so important to forgive yourself. I think people forget to do that. We get so used to forgiving others, we don't forgive ourselves.
Yep. And I had to forgive myself so I can apologize to those who I needed forgiveness from, because I made some stupid decisions. Oh my God. It's just like one of the things where life happens for you, and it's one bad decision after another bad decision after another bad decision. And that's important, not to run away from your problems, to understand what they are, face them, and then deal with it, because we can't control everything.
That's right.
You can control what you can control, and pray on the rest of it, and just do your best. And that was something that, whew, boy, oh boy, if I can go back to that point in my life, man, oh man, I would.
If you could speak to your younger self.
Yeah. Yes. Don't be so hard on yourself, and stop letting the validation of other people perceive my future. You know what I mean? Like, just thinking that things were supposed to be a certain way, and just accept things for how they are, and just learn how to deal with it, but deal with it in a healthy way that still gets me to my goal. Because I still got to my goal of playing WNBA basketball, but I could have got there a little better. And I could have made the transition a little easier.
Gotcha.
But girl made some mistakes. Just made some mistakes.
We all been there. I've got to safe space with my college coach, because I helped so many I harbored so many bad feelings during that time and my experience. But with apologizing to myself, and also for forgiving myself and forgiving him, and kind of like burying the hatchet. And now he's coming on the show, and we're gonna have a great time and talk about all the great times that we had each other, and some of the bad times as well. But we was able to get past that. And I think sometimes, you got to deal with it, right? It'll leave a dark cloud over you, and you won't be able to pursue your greatness or live in your glory
Right.
if you don't.
Right.
So
Yeah,
kudos to
that's
you.
big. Yeah, that was big because it took me years of being scared of being successful.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So when you feel like you have those missing pieces in your life and feel like everything, all the accolades we talked about in this one conversation with you and I, when you can't celebrate those moments because you always feel like something and someone is missing or people are missing. And as amazing as it is to talk about all those experiences right now, I would have gave everything for my family to be in those moments with me. And that's what was missing. That was missing. And that was, woo, man, that was some moments. Boy, oh boy, that was some moments. But I had to outgrow those moments and just remind myself that I'm deserving. And I had to do a mental check. Like when my mother had me, her tubes were tied.
mm.
I wasn't supposed to be here. So because of that moment of breaking through, like, you know what I mean? And that means that I was supposed to be here.
That's
And
right.
that what's written for me is bigger than my upsets and disappointments. So who am I to be selfish and keep living in fear and loneliness when I have so much to glorify and celebrate? And that's exactly where I am right now.
And it's so crazy, Michelle, because people say this all the time about kids. They
Mhm.
didn't ask to come here. Now, me, on the other hand, the way I see the world and the way I understand the world now, and I'm not trying to get everybody to believe how I believe, but
Mhm.
I believe if you're here, you asked to come here.
Mhm.
You just have to figure out why.
Yep.
That's the point. That's the
Yep.
that's the kicker. We got to figure out the why.
Yes. And I talk about that in my book, Finding Your Why. And when you find your why, things skies open up. Because that's the whole purpose. That's when your why is your purpose to me. And once you figure that out, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't have it all figured out. Each day I wake up, I'm still dealing with a whole lot, but I'm finding my why out of my misery.
We all are a work in progress.
There you go. There you go.
That's right.
I'm here for a reason, and whether it's to tell my story and share it with others. But hey, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. I'll
That's
talk
right.
about it to my last breath because I know I'm helping somebody else, inspiring, empowering, sharing. I already put the work in, so why not
Yeah.
help somebody else?
Yeah, you get a lot of love. Look,
Yeah,
Carly Call, she gave you your flowers.
yeah,
Look
man.
at
Thank
that.
you, Carly.
And that's what we're doing tonight. Definitely giving you your flowers. You definitely well deserved.
Sure, for
Salute,
sure.
Liz. Salute.
What up, Liz? Yeah, because players like Liz. You know what I mean? The funny story with her when I was at York College, and I just took the assistant coach's job with the women's basketball team there. And me and Liz, boy, we were like oil and water. She just could not stand me because I pushed her. You know what I mean? And she did not like me, and she wound up being one of the main people that was always under me every day. Where's Coach Reed? Where's Coach Reed? I'm going to Coach Reed. Like she wound up being my baby on the team. You know what I mean? Because I saw her potential when she didn't even see it. And because I pushed her so hard to be her best, she wound up being one of the prize personalities that that made coaching at York very special. All of them did. Don't get me wrong, but her and I, boy, she gave me fever. She she did not like me, but it wasn't because of who I was as a person. It was who I was pushing her to be as a basketball player, and she wasn't used to that. And when she saw that I was coming from a good place, we rocked.
That's why she here tonight representing.
Yeah,
Says she helped me so much.
always will. Always will. Always will.
Yes, yes. Andre Prince, great way to show growth and to help and lead others show something good came from the mistakes.
Right. Right. And that's the thing. life has its lessons, and we have to learn how to grow from them. You know what I mean? Things go wrong, things are gonna go great. It's like on the court. There's a good play and a bad play.
That's right.
Each one is to make the next one better once we understand this purpose. Basketball is the game of life, man. The tools, the mechanics, the learn what you learn from it, the teamwork, the camaraderie, the friends, the business, the connections, the conversations, all of it matter because it's all part of the footprint of life. All right, we getting deep. Go ahead, go back to your next case. We're getting too deep. Go ahead.
No, that's it's all good. It's just that's all part of the show. It's all part of the show. Now you done something else that only a small group of people have done. So now, if the NBA had 4,800 plus players in the 75 years of their existence, the WNBA has a smaller number.
144.
How did you get to the WNBA? Not saying you didn't deserve it, but were you drafted? Did you have to try out? What was the process like?
All right, that journey. So I didn't get drafted out of college. I had to earn my wings. So I moved to Ohio and had a situation where, you know what, things wasn't looking too great for me in Ohio. That's a whole another piece of the book that you can go and read. But moving back to New York, my plan was to get back into the game. And I literally started from grassroots. I literally went to be a part of basketball tournaments. And I mean, things just instantly was gravitating to me because I wasn't in New York for, I think, maybe 2 or 3 days. And somebody told me about a basketball tournament at Lincoln Park. Not Lincoln Park. They call it a Keith Williams Park now, Liberty Park at the time. And it was a girls tournament going on there. And it happened to be a team that was short players. And the coach knew me from my high school days and was like, Michelle, I'm short players. You know, I need a fifth player. Would you play? And I didn't go nowhere without having my shorts and sneakers on, you know, ready to ball. And I wound up playing, dominating, winning MVP and all that kind of stuff in the tournament. And from there, things just skyrocketed. I don't know what happened or who was in the park that day, but my phone just started ringing with people wanting me to play on the team in tournaments and things like that. And I wound up playing with a team called Primetime here in New York, which is was one of the best teams, you know, the best semi-pro teams in Queen. Well, I would say in New York.
In New York, Coach Ryan.
Yeah. Stephanie Staley.
Stephanie said so they had to, that's right, because Coach Ryan coached the boy pro-am team.
Yeah, and she did
the men's, and she did the girls. Got you.
So I joined their semi-pro team, and we were just traveling all over the place, just playing, you know, against whoever, because we had a team full of skilled women that were trying to get to the WNBA, right? And at this point, WNBA was signing people that weren't just coming out of college; they was looking for athletes. So with us going
and
down,
this is in the very beginning as well.
Yeah, this is the very beginning. This was 90. This was when the ABL had started.
Got you.
Right, and they had just started, and they was paying good money, and that was my first venture because I wanted to go. I had a drive to go to play for the Connecticut team, and I went down and had the meeting with the Connecticut coach for the ABL team and everything, and he was going to sign me to the team, but within that week, the ABL folded. So it was like, oh man, and the WNBA was, you know, revering his head and revealing all these players that they were signing, and it was being born. And so it was like, all right, so now I have to start all over. Now I got to get, you know, and Steph was doing her thing and making sure that we was at the right tournaments. We used to go to DC, and we had this big tournament in DC during Martin Luther King weekend. And she had built up a connection with the WNBA and WNBA coaches and invited a lot of them to this tournament, this specific tournament. And we went down there deep with our squad, you know, and the WNBA was in its first 1997 first season. And you had Andrea Stinson and all them kind of players that was, you know, wound up playing in this tournament down there at that time. And her and I just went at it during this game, during the championship game. I mean, she would come down and shoot a three, boop. I would come right back out and hit another one. Boop. And we would just keep going at it, play for play, boom, boom. We just went at it, right? And it was a highlight of the tournament. And to this day, I don't remember who won the game. I was so engulfed in playing against her and just the excitement around that I don't even remember who won the doggone game.
Right.
But anyway, I didn't really care about that. I just wanted to be seen and get on the team. So afterward, Stint and I was talking. She's like, "Yo, you need to be in the league." And the WNBA and Renee Brown was down there at the tournament, as well as the Houston Comets assistant coach was at this game, and both of them expressed interest in me. So I was like, "All right, here we go. This is what I was waiting for." And Renee Brown wound up inviting me to the draft, the WNBA draft in Chicago, the draft camp. So I went down there and I thought I had a great tryout because I had coaches, coming to me during the tryout saying, "Oh, I love your game. I would love to have you." And, after that, I was really confident that, yeah, I'm going to get drafted. This is what's up. And they had the draft and it was crickets. I'm just watching people's names just going across, and, you wait for that call to say from your agent to say, "Look, you going to such and such team." And I never got that call. And I'm like, wow, okay. So then I went to different tryouts. I went to the Miami's to Miami to try out for the Miami squad. Went to Detroit, tried out with the Detroit squad, and nothing. And you can read about the Detroit experience in the book. But it came back, and then summertime was rolling in, and we went to, it was a tournament that Queen Latifah gave in California. And we went to be a part of that. We went deep. We were the team to beat in the tournament. We wound up winning the whole thing. But the funny thing about it is, in that tournament, it was like the end of the second half. The end of the second half, I twist my ankle really bad, right? And it was almost to the point where I wasn't sure if I was going to play again for the rest of the game. So on the side, massaging it out, trainer trying to keep the swelling down, tighten the sneaker, the ice, all of that. And then there was a loud voice from behind us on the bench, because at this point we were up. And then the lead started slipping since when I left the game, because I was one of the key factors of the team. And when the lead started to slip, it was like, oh man, like I got to get back in this game. And then behind me, I heard this loud voice saying, "Michelle, your team needs you. Get back in the game." And it was so strong and it had so much impact that I looked back and I didn't recognize who she was, but it was something about what she said and how she said it. And I was like, you know what? I got to get back in the game. We ain't come down here to lose. We're not doing that. We ain't doing that. And I wound up getting back in the game. We wound up regaining the lead. We wound up winning. I got the MVP for that game. And then the voice behind me wound up being Rhonda Wyndham, who was the GM for the Sparks at the time.
Wow.
And ironically or not, it was the July 4th weekend, and flew back on that Sunday. By the middle of that week, about 72 hours after the time that I landed back home, I got a call from my agent that Rhonda wanted me to come and join the Sparks.
That is awesome.
It wasn't easy.
That is
it wasn't easy, but
that's right. We're
we're
gonna make some noise for that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Make some noise for that.
Yeah. Because
that's right. We're gonna make some noise for that. That's awesome. That's an awesome story. Because at that moment you could have easily gave up.
Absolutely. But it goes to show, when something is for you, it don't matter how you get there. If the destination is for you, you'll get there. And I went all around and all through all these different channels. But if it's for you, it's for you. And I stayed committed. I stayed consistent. I was driven. I was determined. And, I didn't have the breakout season I thought I would have when I was with the Sparks, because it was a lot of things with moving parts was happening by the time I got there. But man, I got there, and
right.
I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful.
I tell people this all the time. People have no clue the amount of things that pro athletes go through.
Yeah.
You know, everybody just think, no, it's the best player. And there's so many key elements and so many different parts of the game that people don't even talk about. And we can spend all night talking about all the different things that players go through. And it's more mental than anything.
Yep. Because I can tell you one thing. It's a high rate of successful. The most successful players at some point in their life quit on themselves before they kept going.
That's
and
right.
found their greatness. People think, oh, you just kept playing and everything just happened and everything is glorious. No. In order to get to those great moments, you got to go through some really rocky paths. And those are the stories that need to be told, because these kids need to understand you have to work at it. Nothing is going to be handed to you.
Not at all.
Stop looking at what you see on YouTube and on TV and thinking that everything is just about millions of dollars and big houses and fancy cars. No, that's the payoff. The journey is what you want to focus on. How did you get there? What did it take? What did you go through? The destination is one part. The journey is another. And those are the conversations that need to be had.
I was watching this documentary. Shout out to Derek Hawkins.
What up, D?
No doubt. We see you, OG.
I just seen him this summer too.
You know, I was watching this documentary and it was talking about the process that the kids in the EYBL go through, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was straight up. He said, the reason why these kids play so many games, they trying to weed out the ones who can't make it.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to weed out the weak-minded ones, the one that's going to quit early, because once they get to that level of being a professional, you're going to have to deal with a lot. And if you can't deal with it, they don't give about your feelings.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. You think it's a business at college level? Woo, it's a whole different world in the pros.
A whole different world.
You don't. Next.
That's right.
That next button is pressed pretty fast.
That's right.
Pretty fast. So you either got it or you don't.
That's right. So you spent time in the WNBA and then you went overseas to play, right?
Yeah, I did the 98 season with the Sparks. Afterwards, I wound up going overseas to Croatia. Got over there, played a couple of months. Well, I went to Croatia before WNBA because I wanted to get a pro status on my basketball resume.
Gotcha.
So that was the first step. Then WNBA was on there. And then when I finished my WNBA season, I went to Finland. And then when I got to Finland, I wound up breaking my ankle and being out for, it took me about a year before I was able to get back on the court, because when I was over there playing on a broken ankle, I had to come back here to get it fixed, but I didn't have any insurance. So I had to maneuver through working for the Y, which back then, if you work, for 90 days consistently, within that, then you got
That's right.
life insurance and things like that. So the grace of God, through the staff, that I did a free basketball camp for the kids. I came to speak to the kids at the Y, and they said, we don't have a budget. I just want to introduce the girls to you. You're doing great for me. Don't worry about it. Just tell me what date and what time. I'll come and talk to them, and we'll do a little drill. Don't worry about it. And just having that generosity of just the fact of being acknowledged when I needed to get to work, because there's work. It wasn't enough money in the league to last me. We were the minimum salary was $17,500 for a base salary for a rookie player for me. And because I came in the midseason, I only got half of that. So there wasn't like I would take a year off and had money in the bank. No, it wasn't that kind of thing. So in order for me to get this surgery, I had to have insurance. So I took a gig at the YMCA, and staying there wound up giving me the insurance I need, which got me the surgery that required. And I wound up being out a year. And at that point I said, you know what, I'm done. Because I didn't want to go back overseas. It's not for everybody. It wasn't for me.
And it was a different time.
Yeah.
It's a different time than it is now, right? When you have so many different options. But the thing I just want to touch on too is that so kids understand that in your basketball journey, you are giving up so much.
Yeah.
You're giving up so much. And it's not a lot of security.
Right.
It's not a lot of security. Like you talked about healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you play a ball, that don't come with healthcare.
Yep. Yep. At the
And
college
unless
level,
you're making a lot of money to
right.
pay for that. Right?
Right.
The college level is a little different because
Yeah.
the insurance and everything kind of takes care of
Mhm.
itself, and the college is a money making machine, so we're able to have that.
Mhm.
But we talking about after college and your
Oh, yeah.
journey to be a professional.
Yep. It's all on you if you don't have a team that has that, have that set up for you. And because I didn't get the surgery over there and came back here, because one, I didn't trust because they had me playing on a broken foot, told me it was just a sprain, but I knew it was more than a sprain. You wake up every morning and your foot looks like this, straight up like this. It took me about an hour and a half just to get movement in my foot every day. And that's when I knew something was wrong. I couldn't keep playing. And it got to the point where I had difficulty walking. I was like, I told my agent, I got to get out of here. Something ain't right. And then when I finally found out, I had chip bone fragments and torn tendons in my ankle.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that's when reality hit, like, all right, do I go back overseas and start this over again? Or is this my first taste of the real world? And that's when I had to have those hard conversations, like, am I still going to pursue this WNBA thing? Because even if I go back, I'm not making no real money. So what am I really sacrificing? I did it for the love for years, but how many times am I going to have to be in this situation where I have to worry about once the season is over, how I'm going to make money? You know what I mean? Because now you have to find a job. You got to figure out how to support yourself.
Yeah.
Once the season is over, it's only 4 months of playing. So once that's over, you got to have something else lined up. Otherwise, you're going to be broke for a minute. And that was my reality. It's just trying to figure out, okay, when I'm not playing, how am I going to pay my bills? Because I had bills. I had bills that needed to be paid. And a lot of them went into collection because I didn't know how. I didn't have the income. I sacrificed reality for basketball. But then when real life hits, you have to make those hard decisions.
How was your transition into the real world? Or back into the real world, as we should say?
It was tough because financially I had to file bankruptcy because I had a lot of debt that was collected from college. I racked up credit cards, which I don't put that on anyone. Learn financial literacy as early as you possibly can in your middle school, junior high school, middle school, high school, and college years. Educate yourself on how money works and how it works for survival. Because if you don't know about credit cards and savings and investing and things like that, yeah, you will end up on the opposite side of life when it comes to money. And because I racked up a nice credit card debt, because I had credit cards coming to me in school.
Well, they preyed on us in college too.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even have to apply for it. They were just coming in the mail. All I had to do is call and just activate them. And me, ignorant, thinking that that's part of my scholarship. I'm thinking that came with me getting the full ride until those bills came, and I was like, oh, I have to pay this back. Like, oh, all right. So now let me just stay at the minimum. You know what I mean? Make those minimum payments, and then they keep increasing the balances. Just increase, and you spend. Especially on the road, you traveling everywhere. When we stop, we always stopping at the mall and outlets, and I was a sneakerhead, so I always wanted a fresh pair of kicks. You know what I mean? So reality hit in. But when I had to file bankruptcy, that was the wake up call for me that, you know what, I have to start looking at life from an adult perspective and not just a pro basketball player, because pro basketball wasn't paying the bills. It was giving me what I wanted to do, something that I loved, but it wasn't helping me make a living. So I had to make some real hard decisions. And that's when I was like, you know what? I have to hang it up. Still played recreationally, you know what I mean? And played on travel teams and things like that. I still played, but I maintained a full-time job and started thinking long-term opposed to what I wanted in those moments. And would I have loved to play longer? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's always
gosh,
the dream.
that's so much more. I mean, I really felt like the gym superstar, like rec gym superstar. You know what I mean? Just playing ball and playing in tournaments and dominating. But I really still had it in me to play. But my reality was I needed to make a living.
Yeah, that's definitely a reality.
Hmm.
When did you start Pro Response Sports?
I started that in 2005 when I was working at the PAL. And how it was started was I was at the Y, and for the first time, I started a small tournament for girls. We had open recreation gym when I was at PAL. I mean, at YMCA, I did open gym. Me and Kim Walden had did open gym on Mondays for women to play, and that was the first time that the YMCA had something that was catered just to women, and had a night designated for it. And when I tell you this night blew up, we had players coming from as far as Jersey and Pennsylvania just to play 3 hours of basketball. The Liberty came Teresa Witherspoon, um, Kim Hampton, and all of them used to always come down on Monday nights to scrimmage with us. And then it just got so big, and they was like, well, dang, we need a tournament, and I put together a tournament. It started out with 6 teams. I had it indoor at the Y, and then on the weekends we did it outdoor in 40 Park, giving back to my neighborhood. That was always something that was important to me. So we had the indoor outdoor tournament, and then from there, I left the Y because the PAL offered me. I started working for NYCHA in the sports department, and then when 9/11 happened, I didn't want to be taking it. I wasn't comfortable with the train because I had to take the E to F to the last stop, which was Chamber Street. And
Yeah.
at that point, I wasn't happy with taking the train in the first place before 9/11. So after 9/11, I literally was having anxiety taking the train. So I was like, look, I have to find something that's closer to home. So the PAL closer to me on the Edward Byrne PAL was brand new, just built the building. They was putting a new program there. Someone gave me the heads up about it. I applied for it. They hired me, and I wound up being the sports coordinator there. And while there, I was still doing clinics and 3-on-3s and stuff like that at PS40 Park for the kids in the community. And that is how Pro Response kind of flourished, because then I turned it into, had the girls tournament, the women's tournament, and then the kids tournament, the boys, the co-eds and things like that. And then it just started growing. And then next thing you know, I was 9 years in and wound up having as many as 34 teams in the tournament. So yeah, and then it was, but the unique part that I love about Pro Response was the fact that I was able to bring community together, because during those summer months, there was no incidents in the neighborhood because everybody was coming to the tournament, having a good time. The NYPD came and had a good time. People was coming together. Health fair, people was coming in. Health fair, the health department was coming in, getting people health insurance. It turned into like a informational kind of thing, not just the basketball tournament. It was catering to the adults, it was catering to the kids, and it was catering to the community. Got the churches in the neighborhood and stuff involved. So it turned out to be really, really big. York College, I was assistant coaching at York College at the time, and York College players wound up coming into the neighborhood, helping us feed the community during holiday time. And then I brought them back in to help me run the tournament. So now kids was getting connected with the York College athletes. And now some of them that didn't have the desire to go to college, now, you know what I mean? They really wanted to know, okay, what was York College about? This is what they offer, this is the things that they do in the community. And some of the girls, they loved it. To this day, they do, give back to community, just being inspired from me, exposing them to those things. And the people in the community love having them. So Pro Response is something that I miss doing because I did it for 9 years and I was doing so much. another thing I had to sacrifice. But I pray that one day that I can rebuild that organization, or at least start a foundation where I can still give back to the game. But I want to do it for the young girls, and I'm just looking for like sponsorship and funding to do that, where I could just focus on girls basketball and developing girls in sports.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to segue into you become a commissioner
Mm-hmm.
of the PSAL girls basketball.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. But you know what? But it's important, because I noticed that a lot of things, there's not enough instructional basketball for girls. And I think that's a key component that's missing, not just in New York City, but across the board. Because a lot of coaches, you have some that focus on the fundamentals, but this very small compared to the boys. And I think because I know what camps like Kathy Russ and BC All-Star meant to me, because of the fundamentals that they taught. You know, if I'm able to duplicate something like that, that would be a great milestone for me. And that, again, it takes the funding, finding the location to house these camps and clinics and instructionals, and having the funding to see it through, not just one time a year, but throughout the year.
It's important because I cover high school sports, and when I go to the boys, it's pretty competitive, but it's hard for me to go to the girls' games. Not all of them, but a lot of them, because there was a lot of because there was a lot of lopsided games, and also there were a lot of forfeits. Let's just say this: South Shore only played 6 PSAL games last year.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Now, only played 6 PSAL games last year because so many teams forfeit and didn't want to play them because they were too dominant.
Yeah.
And I just think, now the PSAL, they do a hell of a job, because there's so many schools, is so many different divisions. But I think the girls' league need to be a lot stronger than what it is. Of course, the talent is not as compacted because we have so many schools. And even during your era, right? Y'all played against some schools that weren't as talented.
Yep.
Right. So I think that plan of having those clinics and building those camps for girls basketball would serve the city justice.
Yeah, that's a goal that's on my list. I would love to achieve that, because I think it's something that the game needs, and I know I can provide it.
Definitely. Liz said, "I'm coaching middle school basketball at Dock Street, BC, because of you, Michelle." Right? That's dope.
Okay. See,
that's
dope. What it's about.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Liz. Kudos. That's what it's about.
So, what made you start the process of writing this book? Let's get to it.
All right. So the book, What Happens After the Game, a memoir. I've always been an avid writer, like ever since I was in junior high school, because my family, being the baby, I'm 9 years between 9, 11, and 12 years between my brothers, right? So, of course, my voice wasn't as loud when it came to disagreements. There's a lot of things you just have to swallow and let it go or whatever. But because my family wasn't good communicators, I used to always write. And it came from me journaling. I had journals. I take my composition books and I would just journal. And it stuck with me throughout my entire life. When I have something on my mind, I journal. At every point, from a child to the date, because that's my way of releasing. And then me going back and reading, different time periods to see where my mind was, did I change? Did I grow? Am I making the same mistakes? Am I growing from those mistakes? Did I have a happy place in my life and decided all of that stuff? So it helped me paint a picture. So during COVID, let me go back, 2018, I used to work for a charter school out in Brooklyn, and I wound up getting hurt, injured at work. And I fell down, I fell on some stairs and wound up having, as a result, having at least 5 surgeries to date. And from those surgeries, they wound up being major, and it wound up taking me out of work for the last 5 years. And from that, I needed an outlet because literally everything I used to do, from refereeing, from running basketball camps, to working a full-time job, to traveling, to everything that I did physically, doing camps and clinics and stuff inside the schools, I couldn't. I'm at a point where I couldn't do any of that. And I started feeling down. I started questioning myself. I started getting depressed. Um, I didn't see no way out. Mentally, I was shutting down, and I had to figure out an out. I had to figure out how to get from this place of giving up and feeling hopeless to a place of finding my strength and keep going. And that's when I started going back and reading my journals. And then I just got in front of my computer and I just started speaking out things, and the computer wrote it because I lost a feeling in my dominant hand. So I had trouble typing and, sitting even now because I took a painkiller. So I'm able to just relax a little bit in this conversation, but it's difficult. And from that, it was like, all right, I have to figure out my life beyond um, my circumstances. And I started having conversation check-ins with different people I was meeting and different friends. And they would say, you need to tell your story. You have a story to tell. Like, why you not have you thought about writing a book? And I said, I've always thought about writing a book. I've been wanting to write a book for the last 10, 15 years. But I just never found myself in a place to be vulnerable because I'm very private. And it was some things that I just wasn't ready to tell, and just was worrying about if I told it, how other people would feel. And then it was a friend of mine that says, you know what, if that's your truth, then that's your truth. If that's what you need to move past certain things, then write it. And I just started just flowing, just letting things go. And here we are. And I decided to publish it. I was like, at this point, my desire was to take the focus off my problems and pain and turn it into a message and empowerment for others. And that's where that book came from. It's just, let me take my story, and I pray that it motivates and helps somebody else, because life isn't about problems. It's about growing through things and realizing that, you know what, I have a purpose here, and giving up on myself is not it. That's not me. It never has been, and it never will be. I might have veered left or veered right, but I never quit. And now is not the time to do that. And my book helped me do that.
No doubt, no doubt. My guy Delbert Prince, another author. Delbert, you can go to Amazon and cop that.
Yeah.
Delbert, he wrote The History of Coney Island Basketball.
Nice.
Part 1 and 2, and he also has
that's what's up, Delbert.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he has another book. He did a comic book as well
Nice.
about Coney Island basketball. And look, for everybody out there, go on Amazon, make sure you purchase the book, show some support, and read this incredible story, and share it with everyone else.
Mm-hmm. And I guarantee it's something in there for everybody. It's not just about sports. It's about family. It's about community. It's about the basketball days. It's about going through and growing through. It's about finding your why. It's about just self-checking and taking responsibility for your life. You know what I mean? For years, sometimes we blame people for why things is happening to us. When at the end of the day, if we take responsibility for the decisions we make and understand that how we react in moments determines how moments are, the outlook of how those moments can look. So we have a choice of the positive and the negative, and they all come from our decisions. You know what I mean? And it was about me just taking responsibility. Like, certain things happened in my life because of the decisions I made. And I had to start with that. I had to self-check Michelle and live by the advice I was given to other people and start living off of my own advice.
That's a real good point.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to ask you, would you consider this book a self-help book? And you kind of answered that question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you feel like athletes are too hard on themselves if their career don't go the way they plan? And do you have some advice for them?
Sometimes it's not for everybody because everybody's shaped differently. And I know for me, I was hard on myself because I was used to being on the high achievement side of things. So if I failed at something, I was hard on myself about it, and I was my worst critic. But the advice I would give is live in the moment, appreciate what you have, be grateful for what you have, and just understand that everything that we do has a lesson in it. Just because however it plays out, there's a lesson in it. And sometimes you just have to sit quietly with yourself and say, you know what? I didn't perform my best at that game yesterday. Let me go back and watch the film and see what happened. And it's not necessarily that the fact that whether you won or lost. It's like, why aren't you happy with your performance? And you go back and you evaluate yourself. Oh, that's why. Because when I took that jump shot, I put my head down and I gave up instead of keep playing and just brush it off and fix my mistake and go down and do it right the next time. I got hard on myself. So sometimes you just got to just forgive yourself and not take everything so personal. Live through the moments. Okay, all right, let me see what this lesson is supposed to teach me, learn through it, but don't live in it. You know what I mean? Don't live in it. And I lived in my lessons for years before I learned it. No, don't be so hard on yourself. You're going to mess up. You're going to pass. You're going to fail. That's all right. Get through it. That's the whole thing. You quit. You fail when you quit. But as long as you understand that you can keep going, live through it. Live through it. It's okay. Just don't give up. Just don't give up. Because no one is going to cheer louder for you than you.
That's right.
I was listening. I was waiting for the roar of the crowd. But the biggest roar I needed was me. I needed to celebrate me before the world can. I needed to see the gift that I was and am well beyond them. I didn't need their applause to know that I was good, but I was looking for it. And when I stopped looking for it, that's when I started seeing life differently.
Well, we're going to applaud you tonight. No doubt. Thank you, Carly. Appreciate you. Thank you,
Carly.
Thank you. So, if you could change one thing about your basketball journey, what would it be and why?
I wouldn't change anything because I believe that the Lord does things in its way and for its reasons. What I would like to have done is learn financial literacy early in my young days and not later in my life.
I've been an educator over 20-something years, and that's one of my biggest problems with the education system.
Yeah, financial literacy.
That's so important.
Yep, because school is designed to create employees, not bosses and not leaders.
Right? That is so real. You put that. That's awesome. I'm glad that we
got to teach ourselves that mindset.
That's right.
And it took me until my late, I would say until my 40s to understand that. Like, wow, I was really dumb when it came to money. I knew how to make it, but I didn't know how to make it work for me. Opposed to me working so hard for it. And that's the advice I would give people. Work on your mental, find someone to talk to when times get hard. Don't bottle it in and wait for it to come out in anger. Develop your financial literacy, learn how money works, learn how to save your money, how to invest your money, how to donate your money, because you give blessings and blessings come back.
Back to you, that's right.
And learn how to to brand yourself where whatever you have sets you up for what you want tomorrow.
That's right. Because every time somebody see me when I'm out in these streets, basketball heads.
Brand it.
This is my brand. I own it. So everything I wear, every time you see me, if people don't know my name, they'd be like, "Yo, basketball heads."
Yeah.
I love it. It's
My
so
brand
good.
started when I was 5 years old and I didn't know it. You know what I mean? The first time I started playing sport, that was my brand.
That's right.
Elementary school, when I made the Guinness Book of Records, that was my brand.
That's right.
High school, that was my brand. But learn how to capitalize, how to take those things and make it become what you want it to be, so you can place value on your life and not wait for someone else to tell you what your value is.
That's real. Let's have some fun now. Let's get into our top five.
Top five.
All right. So people know this is the funnest part of the show, but sometimes it can be the hardest. You only can name 5 people. Can't bring no one off the bench. There's, oh, I like to add this person. Just 5.
Okay.
Top 5 people you played against in any era, in any level.
Top 5 people I played against. I would say Kendra Nelson.
Kendra, yes.
Played
Best
against.
zone.
Just against, right? Not with, right?
Yep. This is against now. We're gonna do the with.
Against, I would say, damn, I would have to put wow, against. Ooh.
Yeah, this is the hardest part of the show. I always say that.
I would say Cynthia Cooper, even if it was a short stint. Cynthia Cooper.
Yep.
I actually put tie Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops together. Against. Ooh. And I even throw my brother in there, Magic. I'll throw my brother in there.
Okay. So how many is that? We said
3.
2 more.
Oh, 5?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4. All right, so that's 4 then, because I could put Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Kendra Nelson.
Yeah, hold on for a sec.
And my brother Magic.
Yo, you know who I got on the show, D?
On the show, sir.
I got Michelle Reed on the show.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I got Derek Chivas on the line.
Oh,
because her brother name was Magic.
Oh, okay.
And D.
Okay.
Yeah. And because my guy Derek Hawkins said, interesting fact, when Derek Chivas, he said he called him Callahan, right? Everybody call him Callahan. Was on your show. He kept talking about the toughest players he faced growing up, and he talked about Michelle Reed's brother, Jeff Reed.
And I got my 5th one.
Yeah.
My 5th one.
Moms, everybody.
He said the moms, everybody.
Right.
The Vic sent me to college at the fattest music, man. Big radios from Jamaica Avenue with the alarm on it, and he sent me about 5 or 6 mixtapes of some of the best music ever, man. I think I still got 2 of them somewhere in a box.
Nice.
No doubt. Yo, thank you, man. I just wanted to, show her some love, man. She have a great story, man. I'm a forward you the story so you can check it out, all right?
He used to come to my house a lot.
All right. Yeah, he said that.
Yep. Sure did.
Yo, D, man, I'm gonna talk to you later, man. I appreciate you, brother. Love.
Love, brother.
All right.
Sure did. And my 5th one would be Dave Edwards.
Dave Edwards. Woo! Again, that was another brother when he passed. Like, D was my little man, and he passed away, man. Salute.
Yep.
Rest in peace, little bro.
Yep, Dave Edwards. Yep.
No doubt.
That would be my 5.
Got you. Now, top 5 players you played with.
Okay. I would say Gwen Doyle from Western Kentucky. Her and Tara Cosby. Also from Western Kentucky. With Estelle. A lot of people don't know her, but she used to play with me on Prime Time. She was another one that I loved playing with because we were able to communicate just by making eye contact.
Right.
Love playing with her. With let me go down. With I think Tamika Dixon.
Whoo. Tough.
Dang, let me think. Because the players that I would pick didn't even make the pros. That's how good they
Hey,
were.
that's okay, but they made an impact in your life.
With let me go down. Ooh, the fifth one. Ooh, so many. Play with. Dang. Wow, I'm struggling with the last one. Play with.
You played with two great players in high school as well.
Huh?
So you played with two great high school players, you know.
Yeah, Kareen and both Rhonda. Yes. Given. That's why I said it's hard to pick my August Martin players because it was so many.
Yeah, I know.
Because I got Erica Ross as well. You know what I mean? Like it was tough. It's hard for me to pick any of them three without picking all three.
But you see how she just threw in all three, right?
I had to do all three. I'm sorry. It's hard.
Nah. Okay, last one, and we're gonna get you out of here. If you had to pick 5 players, right? Who would be your top 5 players in New York City history?
New York City history.
Like, who are your favorite top 5 players in New York City all time?
Ray for Austin. I put my brother Jeff in there.
Whew.
I put Dave in there.
She going all Queens too. Holla. Queens get the money.
Yeah. Boo Harvey.
Boo Harvey. Boo, come on the show, my brother. Come on the show.
All time. One more. Ooh, one more. New York City. I would say Coney Allen.
Stephon Marbury.
Yep.
Yes. I did a show, New York City point guards, and everyone was saying how he was the most complete point guard New York City history.
Yep. I agree with that 100%.
He will be on the show soon. Stay tuned.
All right. Looking forward to that.
Well, listen, Michelle, it's been a pleasure.
I love it.
Right? I couldn't do this in an hour. I was looking at the questions. I'm looking at your life, and sometimes we go maybe 1:30, right? Man, you have such an amazing story, and I would love to bring you back on.
Absolutely.
And get more in depth into the book, because you have such a fantastic and amazing story, an inspiring story. This is going to help a lot of people.
And that's the point. That's the whole point. Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
No doubt. Everybody, man, thank you. Show us some love.
Thank you.
Michelle Reed, New York City legend. That's how we're doing it.
Thank you for everyone that chimed in too for the questions and
thank you. Yes, he says he's ordering the book tonight. That's right. That's right. Well, Michelle, take care. We're about to do our outro and get out of here. But thank you. Many blessings. Let's stay in contact. All right?
You got it.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Yes. Wow. What an amazing story. See, no matter what you go through in life, you're going to have ups and downs. You may have more highs than you have lows, but sometimes those lows can bring down a person. Sometimes them lows can, kind of get to you, but you got to realize that you are the most important person in this equation. And like our guest said tonight, you got to forgive yourself. You got to be real with yourself and give yourself a chance to succeed. Never give up and keep fighting a good fight. Because without that, Michelle wouldn't be able to stay up here and talk for 2 hours, giving her situation. But she stayed the course. She told her story, and you could do the same. Remember, we all are work in progress. But we just got to keep painting that portrait and keep writing our story. Well, we're about to get out of here. I'd like to show some love. Marcel Smith, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Almighty Forbes, thank you. Carly Carl, thank you. Donald Brown, thank you. Danielle Brown, sorry about that. Danielle, sorry about that. Appreciate you. Michael Fragas, thank you. My God, Derek Harley, appreciate you. Lamar Letts, we forgot to come back to that. I'm definitely going to call her because we may need to get him on the show as well. My God, Tar Rivero, appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show. Liz, thank you for everything. Terry Wright, appreciate you. My God, West, thank you. Andre Prince, thank you. My God, Trey Diggs, appreciate you, bro. Delbert Prince, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Got some more orders? Yes, for sure, for sure, for sure. Appreciate you. Much love, Michelle. Well, like I said, I'm about to get out of here. You've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast. I am Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching the #1 basketball show in New York City. That's right, because we are the official home for New York City basketball. And as we always say around this time, peace.